if you think you're going to do it in your own strength, then you know what? Yeah, you can do it.
COVID, it's been helping people move their businesses from offline or brick and mortar to online.
Systems are more important than skills as an entrepreneur today.
It's totally okay to reinvent yourself multiple times, especially when you're an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Profitable Coaching Conversations with Wendy Y. Bailey. If you're a coach, speaker, or industry expert, you're in the right place for sales and marketing wisdom and insight to grow your coaching business. Now, here's your host, Income Acceleration Mentor, Wendy Y. Bailey.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show. As always, I'm excited to bring you another amazing guest, Tim Fitzpatrick. He is what I would call a serial entrepreneur. He's been an entrepreneur for more than 20 years. He's got a story to share about the path that he's taken to get here. And I'm just excited to have you here today, Tim. Thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for having me, Wendy. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so let's get into like your background. You have this, you said your entrepreneurial journey is in like 3 parts. Can you say a little bit more about what that is?
Sure. So when I graduated from college, I was a math major, had no idea what I was going to do with that, but I was always good at math. So I figured, gosh, that math is applied in so many different areas. I've got to be able to use this somehow. And when I graduated, my dad had been an entrepreneur for a long time. He was a manufacturer's rep. So he was basically a middleman, and he made commission on sales from the dealers that he was calling on. About 2 years before I graduated, he had started a wholesale distribution company that was related to his rep business. And he started that with a partner, a friend of his that he knew in business for a long, long time. And when I graduated, there was no full-time employees in that company. He was using people within his rep company to run that business. And I knew he needed help. And like I said, I had no idea what my next step was going to be. So I said, look, why don't I help you for the summer? I'll interview for some jobs, kind of figure out what I'm going to do next. And he said, sure. So I was the first full-time employee. I was selling, I was shipping product, I was paying bills.
Doing it all.
I was doing it all. I was a one-man band. And, he gave me the autonomy to do what I needed to do because he had a rep business to run. And after 3 months, I sat down and I said to him, man, I love this. If you'll have me, I want to keep doing this because I was just soaking up information like a sponge. I learned more in 6 months of doing that than in 4 years of college. And I was just, at that point, I was hooked.
Yeah.
And
it's a hands-on adventure is what it sounds like.
Yes. It was very hands-on. And, it worked. Some people, might go, gosh, you worked with your dad. How was that? It worked really well for us. One, because he trusted me. He knew that I was capable. And if I said I was going to do something, it was going to get done. And because of that, he gave me a lot of autonomy. So he was doing his thing. I was doing my thing day to day. He really helped guide me from a strategic standpoint. But when it came to what was happening each and every day, he gave me the freedom to do what I needed to do. And I came to him if I needed help. That's why it worked. And, when I came to him and said, hey, I don't want to do anything else, he said, awesome, let's do it. And so that's what we did. And I eventually became a partner. We had multiple partners in the business. But we grew at 60% a year on average for 9 years. And then we sold it.
So once you got out of that, what was part 2 of your 3-part story?
Part 2 of that story is so after we sold, I stayed on with them with the company that bought us for another 3 years. I had a contract, an agreement with them. And after that, I actually moved with the company. This was in 2008. I moved with the company to Denver. I had grown up in Northern California, in the Bay Area. And we all know what happened in 2008. We got bought by a public company. In 2008, things started melting. Business was still going,
Huge
but it wasn't.
Recession.
Yeah, it was not as strong. It was not as strong as it was. And in early 2009, they decided to close 30% of the branch locations that we had across the country. And I got laid off. So I got laid off by the company that bought us. So, man, I was like, what am I going to do? What's my next chapter? You know, I mean, fortunately, I was in a place where I wasn't worried about, oh my gosh, you know, my wife was pregnant at the time. We had just bought a house. You know, I'm like, I wasn't in a position where I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to make my mortgage payment? So I was very fortunate. I had some time, and I had always been interested in real estate. And so I decided to get into residential real estate, figured it was a great way to learn the business and figure out, you know, hey, do I want to invest? What do I want to do? Yeah. You're shaking your head. A lot of people are like, oh my God,
that's,
what are you
that's
doing?
not my vision of real estate. That's why I was shaking my head like, okay.
So well, I wanted to learn it from an investment standpoint. And that was a great way to get in, meet a lot of people, see what the business is about. And so that's what I did. I started at that time. This was early 2010. I started door knocking houses that were in foreclosure. There was a ton of short sale business going on. And that's how I
Did you like it?
learned the business. I did not like what I was doing. But what I will say is it put me outside of my comfort zone every single day. And because of that, my comfort zone expanded significantly. And I ended up, you know, because I didn't like what I was doing at some point, you know, at 2.5 years in, I started waking up and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And to me, when you're in business for yourself, why the hell are you doing something if you don't like doing it? And so,
what's your degree in, Tim?
Math. I was a math major.
Wow. Okay. So how did you turn to marketing? I know that's the third part of your story. How did you turn to marketing, and how did you get here?
So when I was on my way out of real estate, right, I knew I needed to do something different. I started thinking about where my skill sets lie and what I loved about being in the distribution business. Because when I was in distribution business, I felt like I didn't work. For 9 years, I didn't work. I just loved what I was doing.
It was fun.
And well, it makes life so much more enjoyable. And so I started thinking about what, you know, that experience and what I liked. It was dynamic. It was changing all the time. You know, I knew what it was like to run a business. I knew what it was like to market and sell. And so that's when I decided to get into marketing. Marketing is dynamic. It is changing all the time. It is not static. And so I thought I could help people there. And that's how I got into it. And
so who do you primarily serve today? Describe what you do in marketing, because that's like a huge umbrella.
It
and
is.
Who do you serve?
So the way I view myself as a marketing coach and consultant, so we primarily work with B2B service-based businesses, coaches, consultants, professional service providers, people that are selling their expertise as part of their business. Our ideal clients within that space have had some success. They're doing, you know, they're at least $500,000 a year in business, if not more. And they want to grow, but they're not sure what that next right step is. They've hit a ceiling. And so, you know, what we find from a marketing standpoint is so many businesses are just battling information overload. There's all these channels. There's tons of tactics within those channels. There's no shortages of gurus saying, Wendy, why, you know, this week you got to be on Clubhouse. And you're like, oh my God, what do I need to do? And so how we help them is we help them simplify marketing so they can grow with less stress. And we do that by helping them create and implement a marketing plan to communicate the right message to the right people.
Very good.
That's what marketing is all about, right?
Yeah,
you got to get in front of the right people. You got to have the right message, and you have to have a plan of how you're going to do that. And so we help them do that. And then from there, they can choose to implement if they want, or if they need outside eyes, or they need somebody to drive the implementation of that plan, we can do that either through coaching or through consulting.
Gotcha. So I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're talking about marketing in the way that you are. When we come back, we're going to go through our profitable wisdom segment. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Barbara J. Faison, your mindfulness and meditation ambassador, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Be sure to like, comment, review, and subscribe so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, my name is Ann Betts, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Please comment, like, review, and subscribe now so you know when the next episode is live.
Hey, this is Tanya Smith, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation show with Wendy Y. Bailey. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment now so that you're notified when the next episode goes live.
So welcome back. We're talking with Tim Fitzpatrick of Rialto Marketing, and we've been talking about sort of what he does and who he serves in the marketing space. So let's get into our signature segment. Who has had the greatest influence on you in your life, Tim?
This is a great question. And there's been a lot of people, but I got to choose. So personally, it's been both of my parents. Mm-hmm. Professionally, it's been my dad. And I touched on, my early experience professionally working with my dad. Man, that was an experience that I wouldn't change ever. Yeah. I got to see a side of my dad that I never got to see growing up.
That business side, that visionary, because clearly he was visionary to do what he did.
He was, and it was just I never got to see that as a kid, and so we were in the consumer electronics business, which is not a very it's a large business, but it's not. It's one of those industries where everybody knows each other. The people that work for a lot of the manufacturers go from one manufacturer to another. Mm-hmm. And so it's big enough, but it's really not that big. And you come in contact with the same people over and over again. And, when I got into it, I saw him interacting with the manufacturers that we worked with, the other manufacturers reps, the dealers that we worked with. He operated with a ton of integrity, and he was well respected because of that. And so it gave me pretty large shoes to fill. But he was always a model for me as to how I should act and hold myself. And I really appreciated that. And I really appreciated how much autonomy and trust he gave me, because that allowed us to work well together.
It also, I'm sure at that age, we're talking 20, 22 years old?
I was early 20s when I first got started.
Yeah. At that age, you needed somebody to sort of create the roadmap for you, so that you could grow in confidence that you could do anything. Because that's what I see with, early 20s. Yeah. People just don't always know what to do with themselves or how to view themselves. It becomes like an identity journey, to find out who you are and kind of what you're made of. Yep. So I love that he gave you that footprint, so to speak. And where did you get the best at business advice? Who gave you the best business advice?
Oh man, I have no idea where this business advice came from. And it's not new. People talk about it all the time. But it really stuck with me. And it's basically about, look, to do great things, you have to focus and do fewer things. It is so easy to become scattered as business owners. We have grand plans. We have all these things we want to accomplish. And if we say yes to too many things, we get scattered and we don't accomplish anything.
And we burn out quickly too.
Yeah, it's, and so that has always stuck with me. It's not easy advice to follow. And it's very easy if you're not really self-aware to go down a rabbit hole. But that's okay. I mean, that's part of the journey to me. It's just one of those things that is always in the back of my mind. And if I find myself starting to go down that trap, I take a step back, and you gotta find what those right elements are that you need to focus on. And like I said, it's not an easy thing to do, but that's how we're going to be successful, is focusing on the right things.
Yeah, for me, as I listened to you, I was like, yeah, you're so on point, because in 19 years, I've done a lot of different things, but in the past 5 years, I got focused, right? So it just makes a world of difference, because when I got focused, I gained traction more quickly than I had ever gained before. So I love that story. What is the largest single sale you've ever experienced or had in your business? What was the amount and the circumstances? The reason I ask this question, I always tell people, is because I want people who are watching and listening to see possibilities, right? I want people to understand that there are a lot of different ways to acquire customers that lead to big results.
Yeah. So the largest single sale I've ever made was when we actually sold our business. And that was multiple seven figures over a period of time. You know, what a lot of people don't realize is when most people sell their business, you do not get a chunk of money all at once and then right off into the sunset. That does happen, but more commonly it's a chunk of money and you stay on for a period of time and there is an earnout. If the business meets certain thresholds, you make more money. You know, then that's just a way for the new owners to look out for their investment and make sure that it's a smooth transition. So that earnout for us was over a 3-year period.
Very cool. Very cool. I had another guest who talked about not having like this huge sale, but because he had served the same client over like a 5-year period, he was able to give me a number that represented that long-term relationship he had with the client. So I get it. I get it. What has helped you move through those times, Tim, when you felt like giving up? And before the recording, I was like, yeah, every other week is like, what am I doing? You think about it, and then you're like, oh, I've got a reason why I'm doing this. My big why is, okay, let me keep going. So what has helped you to move through those times?
The biggest impact for me has been my openness and readiness to change. Most of the time when we run into roadblocks as entrepreneurs, it is some type of change in some way, shape, or form. And what I see a lot of business owners struggling with is change. We resist it internally. We naturally resist it, but that doesn't help us at all. It doesn't help us get through it. And so, yes, we may need some time to, for me, it's fairly quickly. You know, for somebody like my wife, a lot of times my wife is like, it's too soon. It's too soon. You can't be joking about that yet. Right. I move very quickly. She doesn't move as fast as I do. And that's okay. But as entrepreneurs, we have to have the self-awareness to be like, okay, I can take my time to like mope or, you know, complain about this. But at some point, and hopefully sooner rather than later, we need to get past that point and go, okay, this change is happening. There's nothing I can do to stop it. What can I do to maximize and capitalize on this change? And because there is an opportunity there in some way, shape, or form. Always.
The two thoughts that came to mind for me as you were talking is, it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to what happens to you that makes the difference. That's the first thought. And then the second thought is, I've heard a definition of intelligence. It's your ability to adapt to change. Because a lot of people, not saying people who don't adapt are stupid or something. What I'm saying is, when you're thinking that deeply about whatever you're going through, then you can be flexible in how you view it and how you respond. And it just makes for a smoother path and a greater journey along the way. I love that.
It allows you to adapt quicker too, right? Because in business, success is also tied to speed of execution. And if it takes you forever to adapt to change, you're not going to implement and execute fast enough.
It's called analysis paralysis and stagnation if you don't act on it. So what's your greatest personal accomplishment outside of your business?
I would say it's getting married and having a family. You know, that my wife, my kids, they're the single biggest part of the legacy that I intend to leave behind. So
how many kids do you have, Tim?
I have 2 kids. I have 2 girls that are 11 and 10. And, you know, it's a lot of work, but
you got a house full of estrogen.
Yeah, yes,
Got a
yes, I
house
do.
full of estrogen as the lone male there.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's me and two male dogs. So those are the only other males in my
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
But
As much as I know you love them, they don't count.
yeah, that's right.
Not for what the lessons that having all the women in the house can teach you, for sure.
No, they don't. They keep me on my toes. And when I see some of the things that, my wife and I are working on instilling in them coming out,
Mhm.
that's what makes it all worth it. Like, that's why I keep repeating myself on that.
Yeah. I get it though. I get it. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'd love to hear your parting thought, Tim. Sound good?
Absolutely.
All right. We'll be right back.
Hey, everybody, this is Steve Fredland, and you are tuned in to the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with the great Wendy Y. Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so that you are notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I'm Sharita Sparrow, your world-class therapeutic art practitioner, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you can be notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I'm Tim Fitzpatrick, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
So welcome back. We have been talking and having a great conversation learning about Tim Fitzpatrick of Rialto Marketing. So we've talked about a lot of different things, Tim. If there's one thought that you'd like to share, what is that one thought?
So this last parting thought relates to what I do within marketing. And there's so many people that I see making this mistake over and over again, which is they just immediately get into the tactics with marketing. And you got to get the fundamentals in place first. The fundamentals lay the foundation for all of us to be successful. And it is so easy to just jump into tactics with marketing. But you're going to waste time and you're going to waste money when you do that. So if I had to leave you with one parting thought, it would be get the fundamentals in place first. You need to understand your target market, who your ideal clients are within that market. When you understand your ideal clients, then you can create messaging that's going to gain their attention and their interest. And then you got to have a plan. What's your plan to get that message in front of those people? And the plan you start with is not the plan you're going to end with, but you have to have a plan. Planning is key to being effective, whether it's marketing or any other aspect of your business. You have to have a plan. Otherwise, you are throwing stuff up against a wall, hoping something is going to stick. So that's my thought. Don't skip the fundamentals. Get them in place. If you need help, reach out and I will talk to you.
A man after my own heart, because I totally agree with that and believe that. Tim, thank you so much for being here. You have a gift that you want to share. Will you describe it? We're going to put the link in the show notes.
Yes, thank you for that. So related to those fundamentals, we put together a page for your audience that'll just help them with the fundamentals. It's a lot of the tools that we use when we work with clients that are right there. There's no opt-in. Just take advantage of them, check them out. And, if you need help, you get stuck, then just schedule a free consult. I'd be happy to talk to you and help give you some clarity on what those next right steps should be for you based on where you're at.
Awesome. Tim, thank you so much again for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Wendy. Bye.
Okay, we'll be back next time with another episode of the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show. Be sure to join the after party at profitablecoachingsociety.com. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for tuning into Profitable Coaching Conversations with Wendy Y. Bailey. Be sure to join us at the after party at www.profitablecoachingsociety.com. We'll see you next time for more sales and marketing wisdom and insight from Wendy Y. and her amazing guests. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you know when new episodes are posted.